MIRPS countries, member countries, and members of the support platform, as well as other countries that have joined us. Your presence here reaffirms our shared conviction, which is that displacement in our region requires multilateral, supportive, and sustained responses. In this context, during this event, we'll highlight how the MIRPS 2025 Regional Action Plan and the MIRPS Support Platform Strategy, which we have collectively built, are articulated with the commitments made during the Second Global Forum on Refugees 2023. These commitments, made at the highest level, represent our political will to strengthen asylum systems, expand access to durable solutions, and ensure the protection and inclusion of refugees, asylum seekers, and others in other international protection. However, these promises require more than goodwill. They will need a clear roadmap, coordination, and follow-up mechanisms, and above all, we will need joint action. This is the role of the Regional Action Plan 2025 and the MIRPS Support Platform Strategy, which translates in our commitments acquired during the Global Forum into concrete actions and defined timelines and shared responsibilities. Both the plan and the strategy reflect on national priorities, promote work between countries, and channel the accompaniment of the platform and strategic partners, such as civil society, organizations led by refugees, the private sector, academia, the Inter-American system, and the United Nations systems. Thanks to this collaboration, we have strategic tools that align our priorities with global commitments, facilitate the mobilization of technical and financial resources, and strengthen accountability and collective monitoring of progress. It also helps coordination with other mechanisms such as the Quito process and the Chile plan. The spirit of working together convenes us for this meeting, which aims to facilitate and update stock taking of MIRPS states and support platform members in order to identify achievements, priorities, next steps, and existing gaps, as well as explore additional opportunities for support and commitment matching through financial, technical, and material contributions. As pro tempore presidency, Costa Rica reaffirms its commitment to lead these plans in a transparent way with dialogue, open dialogue, and regional vision based on the work done by the presidencies that preceded us, such as the government of Belize, which currently accompanies us as part of the Troika, together with the government of El Salvador, which will take over the presidency in 2026. In honor of this progress made by the presidency that preceded us and laid the foundations of the actions that we propose for this year, we will see now a video of the progress made by the MIRPS. Thank you.
Hace 7 años, 7 estados decidieron unirse con un propósito: apoyar a las personas desplazadas en Centroamérica y México a reconstruir sus vidas. Así, en 2017 nació el MIRPS. Desde entonces, con compromiso y solidaridad, estos países han tejido juntos un futuro más seguro y digno para quienes han tenido que huir. En 2024, Belice asumió la presidencia del MIRPS. Los resultados hablan fuerte y claro. Año tras año, el mecanismo sigue creciendo. Este año, el MIRPS unió fuerzas con otras iniciativas regionales clave, como la Conferencia Regional sobre Migración, el Proceso de Quito, Cartagena +40 y la Comisión de Asuntos Migratorios de la OEA. Además, lanzó el mecanismo de diálogo MIRPS con la academia, incorporando a universidades en la respuesta al desplazamiento, y fortaleció el trabajo con la sociedad civil y el sector privado. El MIRPS generó espacios para poner temas urgentes sobre la mesa e intercambiar buenas prácticas. A través de los equipos técnicos regionales, el aprendizaje entre pares fue fundamental para fortalecer los sistemas de asilo y construir mecanismos de protección más sólidos, asegurar procedimientos accesibles que permitan a niños, niñas y adolescentes ser reconocidos como refugiados, mejorar las respuestas al desplazamiento interno y en particular al causado por el cambio climático y los desastres, fortalecer a los gobiernos locales y sus respuestas a la violencia de género, promover el acceso a empleos estables y dignos mediante la certificación de competencias. Gracias a la plataforma de apoyo y al Fondo MIRPS administrado por la OEA, cada país llevó a cabo proyectos específicos que contribuyeron al cumplimiento de sus compromisos nacionales, transformando palabras en acciones.
Thank you.
Sabemos que el futuro es retador.
Thank you very much for
Por
that
eso,
video. Now
más
we
que
are going
nunca,
to learn in
es
detail what the
indispensable
MIRPS
encontrar
plan is
soluciones
for
juntos.
2025. A regional action plan is a key instrument for the implementation of the commitments made during the Global Forum on Refugees. We invite now His Excellency Omar Badilla, who will be joining us online, Vice Minister of Interior and Police and Director General of Migration and Foreign Affairs. From Costa Rica, good morning, Mr. Vice Minister. Good morning. Good morning for your word. Thank you for your words. Good morning, Ambassador Gustavo Gallon, representing the government of Colombia, and thank you to the presidency for the platform of support. We are very happy to have organized this event together. Honorable representatives of the permanent missions to the United Nations, representatives of the technical teams who have been working with us, and Mrs. Ana Valles supporting us from MIRPS and the technical secretariat. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor to be here with you on behalf of the Costa Rican government as representing the MIRPS, presenting our solutions for 2025. This meeting was organized in our regional plan of action at the beginning of this year in order to articulate in the best manner the efforts that our countries are doing in the frameworks of many multilateral areas. The MIRPS is an application of the Global Compact, and following Belize 2024, our plan takes upon the commitments made in the second forum, Global Refugee Forum. And we're going to have more than two meetings, which will be a key space for us to keep working together in favor of solutions for displaced persons. Today, I'll be presenting our plan of action, which we have been implemented for the past few months and that are showing results already. We will also hear from other countries, from other MIRPS countries in the second part of this meeting. The MIRPS 2025, which we are presenting today, was born from a participatory process among the 7 MIRPS member countries and is based on the commitments adopted by the states in the Declaration of Belize, as well as the guiding principles for these mechanisms, which are solidarity, international cooperation, and shared responsibility. As I said before, we are focusing on following up on the commitments taken during the GRF about strengthening the asylum systems, socioeconomic integration, the role of local governments, and inclusion, statistic inclusion. In preparation for the high-level meeting of the UNHCR that will take place in December 2025. Costa Rica has decided to focus on the following four areas, priority areas in its action plan, regional action plan. The first one is strengthening the initiatives that facilitate protection and integration, socioeconomic integration of refugees and other communities displaced and stateless. The second priority is the regional articulation with other platforms and key actors in order to strengthen the protection framework and solutions. The third area is the strengthening of the response to displacement caused by natural disasters. And the fourth priority area is strengthening the MIRPS and its work structures. The first priority seeks to consolidate and articulate actions to guarantee international participation and social inclusion and economic inclusion of displaced persons. The MIRPS has four technical regional teams, one for reception, admission, and processing of every case. The second one is internal displacement. The third one, employment and means of subsistence. And the fourth one is for local governability. We're very happy to share that so far this year, our technical teams have been able to develop their roadmaps, and we have seen concrete developments in the case of reception, admission, and processing of cases, which we are happy to lead. We are strengthening the institutional areas of national authorities responsible for the processes of determination of the condition of refugees. And this has given us great progress. As an example, I can mention the organization of an event for learning about international protection carried out in coordination with the platform, with the support platform. Likewise, we have worked together with the presidency of the Quito process in order to work on the recognition of the condition of refugee centered in the strengthening of the asylum systems, just like we did last year with regards to internal displacement under the leadership of Honduras, El Salvador, and Mexico. We have seen great developments in order to improve our capacity for the data collection and analysis of the data, as well as a more active community participation as part of this effort, and with the coordination of social coordination, the Red Cross, and we have worked together to elaborate the ABC document on internal displacement that incorporates strategies, resources, and guidelines, as well as tools to help tackle the recent developments in this regard and the needs identified in these countries. In terms of employment and subsistence, led by Mexico, we have carried out actions to promote self-sufficiency, economic self-sufficiency, and integration of displaced persons in the local labor markets. With the International Labor Organization, we continue to implement our strategy to certify skills and different skills. We're also organizing a regional forum on integration that gathers local governments, civil society, the private sector, and academia in order to generate synergies to have a better and more effective economic inclusion. Finally, we're carrying out activities, concrete activities, in order to strengthen local governments and facilitate integration in the territory of refugees, asylum seekers, and displaced persons. It is a pleasure to highlight the elaboration of different local programs to respond to violence against women, gender-based violence in the context of displacement. This is a joint effort led by the Department of Social Inclusion of the OAS, the Inter-American Commission of Women of the OAS, UN Women, and UNHCR. This document gathers good practices and it offers tools to strengthen local action in this area. I'd like to invite you all the missions, to consider the possibility to share your own good practices in these areas. We are convinced that this exchange of good practices is the key in order to enrich our common goals and move forward together. With regards to the second priority established, we are thinking about coordinating different regional mechanisms linked to refugees. And we are going to elaborate concrete recommendations in order to promote a better coordination of platforms such as the Process Cartagena Plus 40, the CRM, and other conferences such as the Quito process and other relevant initiatives. The third priority responds to the the, the increasing number of disasters, natural disasters, and displacement. We are going to work on this with all of the technical teams in local governability and internal displacement in order to harness their experience in this matter, in order to focus on protection and risk management with with the support of the platform.
Fourth priority is goes alongside because it's supposed to strengthen the MIRPS, to strengthen the actions as a review and strengthening of the statutory charter of the MIRPS, the technical capacity of the technical national teams in project management and cooperation, drafting follow-up reports at a regional level, and the promotion of a representation at an international level of MIRPS in strategic spaces. Now, in this regard, we've recently participated in the Legal and Political Commission of the Migration Commission of the OAS in this year, which has been very key aspects within the sixth edition of the Inter-American Course on Migration and Protection in September with the support of the Notre Dame University. Regional effort between the academic network of the Quito process and the dialogue mechanism of the MIRPS, which is the first space of this nature. So in the private sector of MIRPS as well, and then the eighth annual meeting of MIRPS that will be held in San Jose, Costa Rica, where the political declaration 2025 will be adopted. Dear colleagues and representatives, in representation of Costa Rica, we reiterate our commitment with the strengthened MIRPS that is articulated and that has a real impact in the lives of those that need it the most. This action plan it's an ambitious roadmap, but it's manageable if we keep the collaboration spirit in hand that has characterized this mechanism since the outset. We invite all the missions here present to accompany us and to strengthen the work carried out. Their technical inputs, their financial and political inputs are essential to guarantee that the solutions that we promote are at the level of the challenges that we face today. Thank you very much for your attention and for betting on a mostly solidary, human, and protective region. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Deputy Minister. I will now give the floor to the government of Colombia as the president of the MIRPS Platform 2025 will be Madam Olga Rios, who is the coordinator of the refugee condition, which is the CONADE Secretariat. Now, Coordinator Rios, you have the floor, madam. Thank you very much. Good day to all. The representatives of the MIRPS country, members of the support platform of the MIRPS, colleagues of the Technical Secretariat, and permanent representatives to the United Nations. It's a pleasure to greet you here today. Given time constraints, I will use the protocol greetings of the Deputy Minister Badilla, which is a pleasure to share with him. My name is Olga Rios. I'm the internal coordinator of the GIT Refugee Status Determination and Technical Secretary of CONADE, which is the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Colombia. I am pleased to greet you on behalf of the Colombian government, and I want to avail myself of this opportunity to present our strategy of work for the MIRPS platform of 2025. Colombia undertakes this presidency with a firm commitment of strengthening this regional mechanism whose value lies in its practical, cooperative, and people-centered focus. Our strategy for this year is based in supporting the MIRP countries and guarantee an international equitative and effective protection, especially for the refugees and other people that need protection. In this regard, we are working closely with the MIRPS country to strengthen the refugee systems, accompanying modernization process of their institution, digitalizing the case management, and improving technical capacities and norms. In the next moments, I will share with you a presentation that brings together the main axis, objectives, and action lines that carry out our work in the the strategy of the platform of support to MIRPS in 25 is based in international protection strengthening. And in this way, the platform will support the MIRPS country in its efforts to ensure that the refugees have access and an efficient and equalitarian access to the integral protection in their welcoming countries. This will be done through collaboration to strengthening the national institutions that are responsible for the determination processes of the refugee condition by improving the technical capacities, the modernization of the refugee system, including digitalization and developing the procedure system and national practices of asylum and refugee that increases the efficiency, the equity, and the quality. I'll, as you can see on screen, we have the three main pillars of work to the plan. The first one corresponds to the follow-up to the commitments made on the World Forum on Refugees. We recognize the four regional commitments, which is the strengthening the systems of refugee, socioeconomic integration, local governability, and statistical stability, and the various national commitments made by the MIRPS countries within the World Forum on Refugees. We want to give follow-up to these commitments and improve the follow-up of the countries in support to the platform of the MIRPS and other practices to ensure the implementation. The second axis is the collaboration of other mechanisms and regional fora. We are also committed in identifying and promote synergies with other mechanisms and forums that have to do with displacement to amplify our joint efforts and avoid complications. And the third axis has to do with the best practices of the MIRPS. As you know, the MIRPS countries and the members of the support platform have included a best practices inputs to hold a lot of regional activity. This year's we continue to increase and expand the inventory to promote practices at an international scale and develop exchange activities or learning activities. Through our strategies, we aim to move forward on the basis of the progress made by the three previous presidencies of the support platform of the MIRPS, carrying out four main objectives. The first is to boost the technical and political commitments to tend to the humanitarian and development needs identified by the MIRPS countries. The second is to increase the international visibility of MIRPS and the support commitments on behalf of a wider scope of actors. The third objective is to strengthen the support platform as an efficient mechanism to mobilize responses to this the forced displacement situation in the region, and the fourth is to provide technical assistance to work to the MIRPS country to obtain their national plans and the improvement needed. On the basis of these four commitments that I mentioned, Our main results include: the first is to increase the participation of the members of the support platform in the technical regional team on the reception, admission, and cases processing led by Costa Rica. The next one is to provide technical support of the MIRPS countries to strengthen their asylum and refugee systems and to increase their national plans of MIRPS and the commitment on the world form of refugees. Moreover, to put at the disposition of the MIRP states the exchange of good practices to reduce the part that stays behind and digitalize the system of cases to make it more efficient. And lastly, to increase the financial assistance and the technical assistance of the countries of the support platform of the MIRPS country to increase their national plans, the 2025 National Action Plan, and all those identified by the four technical and regional teams of the MIRPS that the Deputy Minister explained in detail. Now, with these objectives in mind, we've created a schedule of activities for this year to increase the regional action plan for the pro tempore presidency of Costa Rica and to support the member countries in the implementation of their national action plans. And for this, we propose to work together in the database of good practices of the MERPs, like I mentioned before. Now, on behalf of the platform, we hope to have inputs on behalf of the members, inviting them to show their practices and provide technical support to the MERPs countries. Secondly, and we remember here that, like the Deputy Minister said, in October 2024, Panama was the host country of the first MERPs meeting in the Quito process for asylum. From the presidential actor of support, we hope to continue with this space this year and to share the content following this good practice of holding a joint meeting between both mechanisms. Thirdly, throughout the year, we would also want to promote the exchange of good practices and technical assistance to our technical regional teams and holding learning events that could be either virtual or presential. This all depends on the availability of funds. Also, in relation to the technical regional team in welcoming the processes of cases, Colombia joined the expert advisory group to support the development of the roadmap to share good practices and provide technical assistance where needed and to help include other relevant actors. Also in 2022, the MERPS country participated in a virtual workshop gender-based in determining the result of refugee people with the support of the Canadian government. And in follow up of this initiative, we want to hold a second workshop according to the need that the member countries expose. We also believe that the exchange of good practices can be more enriching at a bilateral level since it allows a deeper and more detailed exchange applied to the different national contexts. This is why, and as if possible, we will promote the bilateral technical assistance. Lastly but not least, and understanding the relevance of strengthening the planification capacities and joint initiatives, we will hold a workshop of design and project management and cooperation project management. Has done so far as the platform support of MERPS in 2025, Colombia has highlighted a strategy that prioritizes the strengthening of capacities and exchange of good practices focused on international cooperation and in strengthening the refugee system. This is why the Colombian government, within their strategy of this year, with the support of the MERPS countries, the members of the platform and the technical secretariat carried out its first learning event on international protection. This event was done virtually in two sessions on April 7th and May 7th, and as a main objective had the main recommendations, strategies, and principles to reduce the leaving behind and consider the measures based on the rights of those that require asylum and refuge to prevent, reduce, and the leaving aside the request and no The implemented practices on the countries in the region focused on the reduction of this, including the achievements and the challenges that we face. Both sessions were focused in the leaving behind, which is a priority for the MIRPS, and this shows a global challenge in protection. The first included Costa Rica, Canada, and Colombia, who shared our experiences in production and protection. This included part of UNHCR, which included key aspects. The second session, held on May 7th, includes a verification on administrative health with safeguards to protection with presentation on Costa Rica, Argentina, and Colombia. And at the time, there was a substantive statement on on the technical focus and normative focus on the matter. I will then finish the strategy of Colombia to 2025. Thank you very much for your time and the opportunity to join you. Colombia reiterates its commitment for a protective region, a solidary and articulated region vis-a-vis the displacement in Central America and Mexico, and thanks the willingness to collaborate expressed by many of you in this space. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you very much, Coordinator Rios. Now I would like to give the floor to Nora Alturki from the Office of the High Commissioner for Refugee for a brief update on the high-level officers meeting. Nora, you have the floor. Good afternoon. First, on behalf of the GCR team, I would like to thank you for your collaboration as usual. And we would also like to say that the MIRPS platform is a very important platform that serves with the objectives of the Global Compact. And now we would like to have a quick summary of the objectives that we have, and I apologize if I sound something as a bit repeating myself, but I believe it's important to repeat it. As you know, the Global Compact on Refugees was adopted by the United Nations General Assembly on December 2018, and we need to remember that the compact does not replace the Refugee Convention, but it's a complement to it. And the four main objectives are relieving pressures on host countries, improving the self-sufficiency of refugee people, expanding access to solutions in third countries, and support the conditions in the countries of origin for a safe and dignified return. So how can we implement these objectives? Well, we can do it through the next one, which is the first one would be the Global Refugee Forum. We held two. One was in 2019 and the second one was in 2023. Also, through the high level official meeting, the HLOM, we held one in 2021 and we will hold the next one at the end of 2025. Another way to implement these objectives is to the multi-stakeholder engagements. The MIRPS is one of these engagements, and also through national support platforms and mechanism. And also MIRPS constitutes one of these platforms that is very important to implement the objectives of the compact. Let's see where we are on the update on the pledge implementation. Next one, please. To date, We received 3,422 pledges since the first G and second GRF since 2024. We received more than 1,200 pledges, and we believe that this is one of the times that we receive more than updates. And this means that the collaboration of the entities is very high, that the progress is very high, and the process is being carried out dutifully as well as implementation. We have 18% of pledges that have been complied with, 36% that are still ongoing, and 3% that are in the planning phase. This is why I want to remind you, if you please haven't updated your pledges, this is the time to do so because it's very important for us because the update helps the stock taking process that I will present to you. Until we have the HLOM, we're going to work with the stock taking process. And this is why we invite all the entities to participate and update their pledges. And so if you have any problem or doubt on the process, please don't hesitate to contact us and we will happily help you. It's also a time to bring together all the partners to identify the progress and overcome the challenges and take advantage of the opportunities. And we can't leave behind to the fact that including refugees in the procedure so that we can lead the process truthfully and present the stock taking reports of the pledges. And as you know, the presentation of pledges or submitting new pledges, this is a continuous process. So we don't have a specific deadline to submit or update the pledges. This is why this is an ongoing process. And up to HLOM, I believe it's a good time to work on the matching, on the host countries, the political commitments in the host countries to increase their political pledges. And this MIRPS platform represents a good opportunity to have the stock taking because we have the donors and the host countries. So it's a very good opportunity to carry out the matching. So please try to work on this subject and please, once again, don't hesitate to contact us if you need support. At the end, we will talk about or present regarding the HLOM meeting that will be held at the end of this year. The dates are from 15 to 17 December 2025. The venue will be here in Geneva at the CICG. The participation is of senior technical officials. We can talk about the participation of directors, and the program has a dynamic mix of plenary sessions and the meaningful refugee participation will be a key feature throughout the program. That's all I have to say. Thank you. And if you have any question, please feel free to ask the question. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nora, for this update. Now we're going to move on to the next session of our meeting about the development made. We are presenting to you four regional commitments. The first one is the strengthening of the national systems for asylum to make them sustainable and more accessible. For that, we are trying to strengthen our financial support and material support to respond better to persons with needs of international protection. We also want to reaffirm our commitment to the socio-economic integration of stateless persons and asylum seekers through employment, entrepreneurship, and access to social services. We are trying to do this in collaboration with the host communities. We are also trying to gather data on displaced persons, including refugees, asylum seekers, internally displaced persons, and stateless persons. This will allow us to have a better decision-making process based on evidence. Finally, we are committed to support government-led initiatives to promote an effective inclusion of displaced persons and integrate them in healthcare, social protection, employment, eliminating the obstacles for social and legal barriers. So now we're going to hear from members of this support platform to hear how they are making progress in this regard. Thank you. Now, we are going to hear an intervention of His Excellency Omer Badilla, Vice Minister and Director of Migration, in his capacity of leader as the technical team of MIRP on admission and management of cases. Omer, you have the floor. Thank you. I'm very happy to share with you the developments that we presented from Costa Rica in 2023 in the Global Refugee Forum in relation with our national system for refugees to give a better response to refugees. Our country has been facing many challenges since 2018 when we started registering an increase in the number of persons, a number of asylum seekers. This has shown their trust in Costa Rica as a safe country committed to human rights has also represented a huge responsibility for our institutions. The high demand has generated, among other consequences, a high increase in the waiting times for people to receive or respond on their request for international protection. In order to solve this problem, we have made it a priority. So in 2023, the government of the Republic created a system to strengthen our mechanisms in order to improve and to face this increased number of asylum seekers, to accelerate the condition of refugees so that they could contribute to the international protection systems. In 2024, our General Direction of Foreign Affairs and the UNHCR designed a strategy to prevent the waiting times, long waiting times. We have 8 axes in this area, but now I'm going to talk about only one of them. The closing of cases. On the 30th of April this year, we had registered 224,415 asylum requests, pending requests. Nicaragua is the country with the highest number of asylum seekers, representing 87% of the total. This volume shows not only the magnitude of this migration phenomena, but also the need to find efficient solutions and sustainable ones. In order to optimize the resources available, UNHCR worked with us to find innovative methods to assist the largest number possible of asylum seekers without compromising quality of the services or the rights of the asylum seekers. So we identified several groups that could be resolved in a different way because there were situations in which it was no longer needed a deep evaluation. I would like to share some examples of these. 26,000 people who did not attend their eligibility meeting. 20,000 persons who gave up their request. 13,000 persons who regularized their situation through other mechanisms, and 3,000 persons who adhere to a safe mobility program of the UNHCR. Through this program, we created a resolution for all of these cases that allowed us to close collectively all of these cases under um, um, an expiry model, so that if the person later on wants to continue their process, they can do so by presenting a request. We also adjusted our system, our IT system, so that with one resolution, we could close 100 cases at the same time. This is a very big development for us. It's a it's the first time in many years that we are able to visualize a reduction in the accumulation of pending cases. After a lot of trial and error, on the 2nd of May 2025, we started closing collectively some cases, and from then and now, we have closed 6,420 files. We foresee that by the end of the month, we'll be able to close 8,000 more cases, which will allow us to end the month of May with about 220,000 cases, which is 4,000 less than April. This might seem like a small number, but it is a tipping point for us because we will be reverting this trend of accumulating cases. It is a development that is decongesting the system, but it's also opening spaces to concentrate efforts in the more urgent cases that need an analysis, a deep analysis, and then we can guarantee a better response to persons in situations of vulnerability. Another complement to this commitment is the finalization of our project named Strengthening and Derivation of Asylum Seekers with special profiles or vulnerable profiles through the modernization of our platform of refugees in Costa Rica, which was funded with MIRPS funds and the contributions of the government of Spain. This project has transformed the way we work and then we provide help thanks to a deep remodeling and restructuring of our systems. We have been able to improve several aspects such as confidentiality, waiting times, and the dignified treatment of asylum seekers. Today, we have a very accessible space, more human, more efficient, and more sensitive to the specific needs of those who are looking for international protection in our country. We have adapted spaces for breastfeeding mothers, a reconfigured space that allows for a more orderly process to receive people and giving them some privacy. These are only a few examples of what we have put in place. This joint effort, including the modernizing our platform, reflects our firm commitment in Costa Rica to defend human rights and improve our services constantly. Our objective is still very clear: to offer a refugee system that works, that is efficient, and that is respectful of human rights, that lives up to the challenge of the dignity and those who need international protection. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Vice Minister. Now we're going to hear from the Canadian government as a member of MIRPS, represented by Michael Kearns, the Director of Programs and Asylum Policies, Migration, Refugees, and Citizenship of Canada. He is joining us online. Mr. Carter, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. Distinguished representatives, we convene today at a pivotal moment in our collective efforts to strengthen protection and solutions for displacement across Central America and Mexico. Guided by Costa Rica's 2025 MIRPS Regional Action Plan, as well as Colombia's strategy as the support platform chair, this gathering provides an opportunity to highlight our support for key regional commitments, including asylum system strengthening. On behalf of the Government of Canada, I wish to recognize the governments of Costa Rica and Colombia for their leadership. I would also like to acknowledge the contributions of support platform members and the MIRPS regional technical teams, whose dedication ensures the effective implementation of commitments at the national level. At the 2023 Global Refugee Forum, Canada reaffirmed its leadership with 40 pledges across key areas. Canada has continued to deliver these pledges, including through our 2025 to 2027 Immigration Levels Plan and advancements in asylum capacity building and protection initiatives. Aligned with this year's support platform chair strategy, Canada's ongoing efforts in the region include engaging with partners like Mexico through our Regional Asylum Capacity Building Initiative, where Canada played a role in coordinating activities implemented in 2024 and developing the joint work plan for 2025. And in 2024, we deepened our collaborations with Costa Rica, developing technical trainings with support from UNHCR and the Immigration and Refugee Board of Canada to advance the strategy developed by Costa Rica to modernize its asylum system, a collaboration we look forward to continuing in 2025. Beyond continuing direct engagement with MIRPS countries, Canada is also interested in fostering mutual exchange and sharing of expertise and innovative practices through the MIRPS Regional Technical Team on reception, admission, and case processing, as well as other important events planned throughout this year. An example being the MIRPS Learning Event on International Protection held in May, where Canada participated and presented on tools and initiatives to optimize resource and backlog management. Canada recognizes the heightened importance of equitable and coordinated efforts amid global resource constraints. We encourage states to contribute based on their capacities and to leverage synergies. Where feasible, Canada is prioritizing virtual participation while maintaining long-term partnerships to ensure sustained engagement. We use results of the mapping of asylum adjudication needs conducted in the Americas to share insights with other states and platforms to identify synergies and strengthen collective agendas. We commend ongoing efforts to foster cross-fertilization between MIRPS and the Quito process again this year. Through our asylum-specific engagements, we seek to collaboratively enhance decision-making capacities by sharing promising practices and reinforcing principles such as legal integrity, procedural fairness, and compliance with international norms. Canada has also provided financial support to capacity strengthening initiatives across the Americas, including 8 projects to support asylum system strengthening in MIRPS countries. We recognize that effective support requires tailored approaches, ensuring accountability in project implementation, tracking progress, and amplifying the successes of our partners. In conclusion, we extend our appreciation to all present, states, UN bodies, and civil society whose collective efforts reflect the shared commitment to implementing sustainable solutions and upholding the principles of international responsibility sharing. Thank you very much.
We are going to finish this first segment, and now we're going to talk about the commitment on socioeconomic integration. We're going to hear Alondra Mendoza Carlos, coordinator in the Mexican office in the permanent mission of Mexico. She will be joining us online. Thank you very much. Good afternoon to all of you. Thank you very much to Costa Rica and Colombia and the UNHCR for inviting us to this meeting. Mexico is convinced that an effective protection and integration of asylum seekers and refugees in our country requires collaboration. To that end, our country continues participating in strategies and actions in the MIRPS. Through our technical regional team on employment and means of subsistence, Mexico has been sharing good practices to promote the necessary means for all those in need. Among these initiatives, we can highlight the optimization of our systems of information on labor markets, capacity building for those seeking asylum, the provision of documentation for the access of decent work and financial services, as well as advocacy strategies for their labor integration. In coordination with these activities, we have made great progress. According to Article 44 on complementary protection, refugees need to receive all the means in order to be integrated in a host country. Following the commitments acquired by Mexico to the MIRPS, the Commission of Mexico to Help Refugees is coordinating the complementary protection table in our country, along with other international organizations and civil society organizations, in order to achieve labor inclusion of those who are seeking international protection, guaranteeing their rights and fostering their professional or personal development. Among these actions, we can highlight training, capacity building in terms of rights and duties of refugees, the permanent presence of experts in the multi-service centers where we can have our offices of Comar in order to help them in this integration, and the organization of workshops, including how to obtain ID cards and other documents. After the implementation of our national program for integration, we have seen great progress in the center area of our country and the south of our country. Over 50,000 persons have received this support with an accompaniment to their integration. Over 600 companies have also received help. Refugees have also contributed with $15 million and state contributions. In this line, Comar has also collaborated with the our labor organization, UNHCR, and ILO, helping redirect persons who want to be part of the labor market. With the technical support of UNHCR, we have also established another department for integration of refugees. This is a space for dialogue involving actively all of those seeking asylum or refugees to strengthen their protection and their interaction. This is an effort that also responds to all those commitments acquired by the state of Mexico during the Global Refugee Forum. Since 2022, Comar, in coordination with the National Council to Prevent discrimination. We have been organizing conferences to avoid discrimination through several activities to combat discrimination, racism, and xenophobia in cities with a high number of persons in displacement. We have also established a multi-service program in Baja California and Tijuana with the collaboration of civil society, local governments, state governments, and UNHCR in order to give a better response to the needs for protection of these persons who are seeking asylum and refugees. In these centers, we give legal support, access to the procedures, information, shelters, education, employment, documentation, protection to childhood, mental health support, and protection to survivors of violence, as well as cultural activities. Mexico would like to thank UNHCR for all of their support and the implementation of so many activities at a national and global level, and we reaffirm our interest and commitment to move forward in collaboration with all the countries in the region within the framework of the MIRPS. Thank you very much. Thank you, Alondra. Now, would like to give the floor to Maria Elena Beltrán de Villatoro from El Salvador, who will also be joining us online. Hello and good afternoon. El Salvador has been working constantly in the creation of new opportunities. Through this process, we have made great developments in complying with the commitments acquired during the Global Refugee Forums within the framework of the MIRPS. As the government of El Salvador, we are giving priority to new durable solutions. For that, I would like to share some developments. Our country continue strengthening the program Mi Primer Trabajo, or our first job, through which we have benefited over 70 persons. This initiative has the support of many companies because our country recognizes the importance of accessing the labor market. We will continue working in alliance with the private sector. Since the beginning of this program named Mi Primer Trabajo, we have been imparting workshops and training programs, and we have given this training to over 71 persons, out of which 20 have already found a job. In this manner, we are also fostering urban tourism as a means of increased employment in certain areas of our country, trying to eradicate stigmatization and promoting empowerment through art and through entrepreneurship. With many other partners, we have benefited 296 persons, returning families, and we have given scholarships through humanitarian assistance with an emphasis in the protection of childhood. We have also worked on female empowerment. 80 women, vulnerable women, have received support to create their own businesses. They have received some microfinancing support, which has been a great development. We would like to thank the UNHCR for working together and for always supporting us in our projects and public policies in order to support those who need it the most. I'd like to reiterate my country's commitment to protect the needs of those persons in mobility, refugees, asylum seekers, focusing always on human rights. Thank you very much. Thank you, Maria Elena. Now we are going to hear Madam Ana Aguilera, Senior Specialist from the World Bank, social development for Latin America and the Caribbean as a member of the support platform of MIRPS. You have the floor. Thank you very much for giving me the floor, and thank you for the opportunity to participate in this space. The World Bank recognizes the good results of this collaboration with MIRPS and the support platform. And we'd like to thank the government of Colombia for their support. As Vice Minister Mermadilla said, as a region, we have a challenge to support this flow of migrants and asylum seekers that keep increasing. This is a great opportunity for us to reach our development goals. And for that, we need to take inclusive measures and coordinated actions at a regional and national level, such as the ones carried out by MIRPS. With budgets that are shrinking, it is becoming more and more difficult to work and foster integration and social integration. For that, we have approved a new joint regional initiative that will last 5 years with the international community, IFC, our private banks, and the World Bank in Latin America and the Caribbean in order to foster initiatives of economic inclusions for displaced populations and migrants in vulnerable situations. We have seen an unprecedented number of migrants in our region. Despite the fact that this is a challenge, we should see it as an opportunity because human mobility can also foster the movement of culture, knowledge, and skills, which can in turn foster development of technologies and economic growth. And we have seen that in many of our countries, such as Colombia and Peru and Costa Rica, where all migrants are contributing 6.5 of the gross economic product. This is also the case of Venezuelan migrants in other countries. We recognize that the private sector can have a very important role for the sustainable models. But how can we do that? I believe that by strengthening the economic future of their own companies, increasing the roster of companies and economic partners, including asylum seekers and refugees from the World Bank, we are suggesting or proposing 2 concrete ideas in this forum of MIRPS in order to strengthen this collaboration. The first one is to invest in the regularization of companies and persons, individuals. We know that there is a global consensus on formalizing companies or businesses, but we don't apply that to individuals because companies are made out of individuals. We would like to incorporate workers, refugee workers, and other migrants within the workforce, eliminating legal barriers in order to include them in the systems and avoiding secondary displacement. In the private sector, this will require a strengthening of our systems in the local and municipal levels that control all these companies and businesses through licenses, etc. And regularizing individuals is up to those governments. And many times there's also a predominant political factor. We should also consider economic factors because if both processes are not aligned, the regularization or legalization of individuals and companies, then we will lose great opportunities and that will weaken the supply chains as opportunities for economic growth. The second suggestion is investing in medium and small enterprises so that they can generate revenues and employment. IFC, for example, could offer financing to these companies that are willing to include refugees in their processes and in their labor market, guaranteeing at the same time access to refugees and being also flexible with the requirements in order to get a bank account or open a small business. Some local banks do not recognize the documentation that a refugee may have or any other ID card provided um, for refugees, which limits them in order to open businesses or have access to a bank account. In our region, we also see a large number of security staff that is hindering access of refugees and asylum seekers to bank accounts and other services. From the World Bank and our new initiative with ICF, we want to reiterate our support in order to provide the financial support that this is going to require. Thank you so much for your trust. We are here to serve you and to serve all those who need international protection. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hannah, for your presentation. Let us continue with the update on the pledges of statistic inclusion. Let's begin with an intervention on behalf of Andrea Jimenez, which is the first secretary of the Permanent Mission of Honduras to the United Nations Office. Thank you very much. I want to join my predecessors and welcoming Ambassador Gallon that accompanies us here. We want to convey our gratitude to Costa Rica, Colombia, and UNHCR for holding this important meeting. We believe that these important spaces of exchange are great for experiences to align regional efforts and make visible the advances that we've carried out in everything related to this place. In the English statistical data, Honduras has shown the production of data on forced mobility and the role of the Statistic Institute, including a human rights focus, is key in this process. In 2023, the INE, which is alongside the Secretary of Human Rights and UNHCR, included the inclusion of a area on forced displacement in the surveys carried out in the homes. This was included in the data generation in the country. Now in 2024, we've increased this process and with determination, holding technical meetings with the Joint Data Center, the INERI with Mexico, and the UNHCR and the Human Rights Secretary of Honduras. This is all placed with the holdings statistics in forced displacement. As part of this work, we increased the design of tools to improve the questions that should be included in the next surveys. In the census of Honduras in 2025, we will hold a question to identify the causes of internal mobility. This will bring about in the citizen insecurity, the loss of lifestyles, and natural disasters, as well as the losing of crops, which measures the complexity of this phenomena. In a parallel way, Honduras leads the working group of ECLAC trying to draft the statistics of forced displacement and migration for the biennial 2024-2025. This regional statistics of four countries include this with ECLAC, CLAC, UNHCR, and IOM. They aim to have good practices and foster our statistic capacity. In views of 2025, with the support of the technical assistance of Biodiversity International Alliance, we will draft a national report on forced displacement. This document will be based on the data gathered in 2024, will be published at the end of the year, and will be presented officially in the fourth quarter of 2025. The INE will also make available a micro website dedicated to this force displacement to show in a transparent way the advances, the methodologies, and results. The updated statistics alongside with the census will be available from 2026 on. My country has identified the strengthening of statistic inclusion is a priority with to show the decision making process and to increase financing and the cooperation statistics that go hand in hand with with the force displacement, including the structural causes of which. Thank you very much, dear colleague Andrea. We will continue with a virtual intervention on behalf of Mr. Humberto Soto, who's the official of the sub-regional headquarters of Mexico in ECLAC, and is also part of the MIRPS platform. Sir, you have the floor. Thank you very much, and good day, good afternoon to all. From ECLAC, we recognize the important advances that we have through the current temporary presidencies of the MIRPS and the previous ones as well. These is a programs based on the participants are highly relevant, as well as the proposals to obtain the programs show proof and need to be based on data and information. And this is why through ECLAC we've been working for many years now to identify what the statistic relevance of in the statistic inclusion on the design and implementation of public policies processes. Now, this information that we see comes together with the plans of the regional platform of MIRPS. We aim to have programs that go to give priority to these areas that you're well aware of. And we've seen it from ECLAC in our work that we require information, basic information of the people, of their age, gender, level of education, position at home, their marital status, to see what are the priority areas of those displaced persons. So we also need to know the migration experience, the destiny, the motivation behind the displacement, the time of leaving their country, their current time in the current place. Beyond this, we also need to know what is their future plan, what they plan to do, and in their case, what are the capacities that they've developed to do so. All this information is part of the statistic inclusion and knowing it, and we believe it to be relevant. And I begin from this because from the relevance of this subject is that we've worked to have within the statistic information system, we need to ask ourselves first the relevance to convince some counterparts that this is important to do. As our colleague from Honduras said, the country has led this working group of the statistics on forced displacement and migration. Here we've been accompanying with ECLAC from the population aspect. And the idea is to strengthen this capacity building from the Statistic Institute to increase the recommendations of the expert groups in these specific statistics. So everything we've obtained, we've done it, and in the advance, we already have a diagnosis tool that we will show you a result. There's some of the results briefly. We've also done the application at an international level, and we've also worked on the content of the guideline from the diagnosis. We are identifying it from a consultation with different countries. We have a different thematics to be seen if they are included within the national statistics of those displaced and refugees, where the displacements and causes and flows take place, and to see what the programs of response are and the statistics behind it. What we've seen from the consultations is that there are some countries that have the information, but not all of them, on this internally displaced population as that of refugees. There is still a gap in information. If we go further in depth in the investigation on specific actions, most of the countries that don't have any data or full data on the specific actions, then this is what we will see at the end as part of education, medical systems, family reunification. And what we are identifying here is the capacity, what the capacity we have to to collect data. The humanitarian aspect that reach everywhere, they don't necessarily have access to all the information. The administrative aspect is where they have most of information. The other one is the census, and there are some countries that still need to include these statistics in the reports, but they need to establish more robust coordination systems to have a, a larger flow of information of those people that require basic information to implement and to have this long lasting programs and to have enough information. So in this framework, we're promoting the guide for harmonized statistics. On this work of forced displacement and migration, we have increased in migration of the census and administration to obtain the data from other actors, from other informations, from other institutions, and communication strategies. We continue to work with thematic meetings to discuss more contents of the guide on the guidelines as well on the divisions. And I would like to finish my intervention saying that from ECLAC in the United Nations in general, working together with our colleagues from UNHCR and of the countries that work in the SIA, we have a commitment to support this process of statistics, the use of the statistics to to improve the processes of supporting the populations that are displaced. I thank you very much for your attention. Thank you very much, Humberto. So, colleagues, as we can see in some, we have seen the strengthening of the asylum system, the socioeconomic integration, statistic inclusion, where we have reached to the interventions of as well on the commitment of local governance. Now I give the floor to Madam Fabio Laumafe with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Nicaragua, of Guatemala. I'm sorry, the, the speaker stands corrected. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for giving me the floor. And greetings from this beautiful city of Guatemala. And I'm supported by the national technical team that are also here with me online. I want to congratulate the Costa Rican government for the presentation of the 2025 action plan and for the government of Colombia for presenting the strategy of the government. We have our commitment to continue working together to move forward in the commitment and in in complying with the pledges of the Refugee Compact. For us, for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the technical team, it's important to show the advances and the pledges of our countries regarding local governance. Alongside with the local government, the central governments, and our international partners as UNHCR, we've managed to move forward significantly in the implementation of concrete actions that strengthen the protection of those in need. This synergy has allowed us to guarantee the access to fundamental rights and promote long lasting solutions for the integration of refugees in the welcoming communities. Guatemala is and will continue to be a solidarity country, and a show of this is this up to this 19 local governments have joined this initiative. This initiative is promoted by UNHCR. This shows that the collaboration of local organizations, NGOs, communities, and UNHCR is key to guarantee the access to the essential lifestyles and for of those in refugee status. This is also show the labor inclusion of the refugees people, including them in the private sector, promoting scholarships or technical training so that they can have more access to work, including training workshops to advise on job seeking. It's also important to highlight those programs empowering women, since women, Guatemalan women in this case are empowered by these workshops, but this include refugee women as well. This is important to increase the welcoming of the communities in the host countries. And this also helps of the local governments. And this strategy is also led by the Vice Presidency of the Republic, who acknowledge that the local governments have mechanisms to protect those that require international assistance and to strengthen community assistance, including and take into consideration vulnerability. We need to highlight that this cannot be put in figures, which is the political wills from the central government to local government increased by the mayors. The commitment of Guatemala has increased at a regional level with the leadership of the technical team of local governance, where I want to highlight the important role played by the municipality of Guatemala, not only at a national scale, but also at a regional level. To finish off, I want to congratulate the national institutions that include the National Technical Team, the representative of UNHCR in Guatemala, and her work team because the advance has been possible thanks to the coordination with UNHCR. I also want to convey greetings and thank the technical secretary of UNHCR to the OAS as well, and the technical secretary of MIRPS and OAS. And on behalf of the government of Guatemala, we want to express our commitment to continue moving forward with the government from solidarity and working together to build stronger communities. Thank you very much to the Costa Rican government. Thank you very much, esteemed director. I want to thank all the participations here on the pledges here. We will listen to one of the key initiatives to promote one of the social participation of MIRPS with the social dialogue with MIRPS, and I will give the floor to Ms. Lanoena Conaga, President of the Nicaraguan Citizens of Mexico and Regional Coordinator of MIRPS with Civil Society for this year. Good day, distinguished representatives from the MIRPS countries. Good day to all of the member states here in Geneva and on the support platform, technical national technical teams and technical secretary from the Nicaraguan Association in Mexico, led by refugee women as pro tempore presidency of the civil society made up of 36 organizations in the region. We thank the Costa Rican government as the pro tempore presidency of MIRPS, and the government of Colombia is as president of the support platform and part of the UNHCR and OAS through the social inclusion platform to make this space possible and participate and letting us participate. This meeting allows us to align the regional efforts with the roadmap with the MIRPS 2025 and to strengthen the follow-up of the pledges undertaken in the World Refugee Forum on 2023. From the dialogue mechanism, we increased to work together with the state parties and the support platform to move forward in our common goals. We address you to talk about the strategies and collaboration strategies from the dialogue mechanism to strengthen and protection international level at a global aspect in the region that it faces more and more complex challenges. We see with concern that in America there is a vulneration of human rights and fundamental rights of those that are in human mobility, specifically those that require international protection, where they criminalize those people that bring about discrimination and xenophobia. The mechanism between the civil society for MIRPS has proposed the priority access for 2025 to comply with the regional commitment to have the regional asylum aspect. We want to document and make visible the causes of the forces displacement and the violation of human rights and migration aspects. With the CRM and the regional social organization with migration, we are working together, and we have a tool for detection of vulnerabilities in creating a pilot program in Costa Rica and Mexico that will allow all mechanisms to identify and attention to those in risk and ensure through active participation of their member organizations in fundamental rights. The, pro- the promotion in complementary lives and negotiations we advocate for public policies and regularize those refugees in an effective way to help those displaced and asylum requirements to guarantee dignified conditions for their integration, the political, regional integration, and international procedure for a dialogue process of good practices, and to have the advances in protection of human rights. So we will try to find a position for the mechanism at a regional and international level as the OAS, the follow-up mechanism of the Chilean Action Plans, the Quito process, and the Regional Conference of Women to make visible our proposals to strengthen our work and promote alliances with other key actors in the protection and integration of people in mobility, as well as the implementation of the regional policy at a local scale. Increasing the organizations will carry out training process with the technical secretariat support and help civil society, specifically those that are led by refugees and displaced people in Central America, to prepare for the temporary presidencies of the mechanism to have the participation of action. Lastly, we are pleased to say that we are currently working in a multi-stakeholder commitment of the civil society for the MIRPS within the framework on the Global Refugee Compact, and we have to strengthen this significant participation of the civil society organization in the MIRPS processes. This is something that can be included in this mechanism, and this can show as well the best results showed with the working together through the design of the consultation mechanism, the sensibilization of the community, and the working together with the local governments and international actors to promote long lasting solutions of human rights. This commitment brings together that brought by the member states of MIRPS. We invite the governments and donors to take into consideration the different opportunities to support our mechanisms to joint projects, public policies, and financial aspects to contribute to international and human rights. Thank you for your time and your commitment to this cause. We remain at your disposal to provide more information on our activities and explore different areas of collaboration. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ana Lorena. We will now give the floor to other updates. And now we will increase to Eva Macu for humanitarian agreement of the permanent representative of the European Union in Geneva. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Before, I would like to thank you for the invitation here to the European Union, to the Commission here in this meeting, and highlight the importance of the MIRPS and the value that the MIRPS has in the region, since this is a continuous platform where the 7 countries in the region talk about forced displacement that is affecting the sub-region in an unprecedented manner. We will have to see the Central American aspect in Mexico and many simultaneous flows of displaced people, including those displaced internally or in Central America and Mexico, which is a circular aspect because increasing amount of people are being sent back or deported by force of the United States or in Mexico. This is why we reiterate the support of the European Union, acknowledging the importance to guarantee their support to mitigation of pressures that come from forced displacement in Central America and Mexico, and to promote the self-sufficiency of refugees. I would also want to highlight the commitment of the European Union with the shared objectives and supports to displaced populations that can be seen in the commitment of the European Union in the region as a whole. Our, our commitment to talk about the deep causes of displacement in the region is still valid, and we support those most vulnerable and supporting of a national commitment. If you allow me, I would like to give some examples of our support specifically as humanitarian assistance that we provide to the health and protection services of those displaced in the whole of Central America throughout the migration routes. Another example is support to the long lasting solutions and integration of those displaced. For example, in the case of social economical integration to the Nicaraguan refugees in Costa Rica, or the access to a dignified work of the displaced population in Mexico. If you allow me, I would also like to announce, which was said publicly yesterday by the European Commission, so it's a good timing for us here. I want to highlight that the European Union assigns 120 million euros in humanitarian aid to Latin America and the Caribbean in 2025. Since many of the countries in the region are facing humanitarian challenges due to the crisis of Venezuela, the natural disasters, and the armed conflict, and the European Commission decided to contribute with this humanitarian aid to support those most vulnerable in the region. Part of this aid includes the preparation for disasters and giving the, expo- the exposure of natural disasters in the region, of course. We also have the humanitarian support of the European Union for Central America and Mexico. We have a budget of 10 million euros, and with these funds, our support to the operations carried out in the region since 1994 has in, reached an amount of over 400 million euros. And the annual financing aspects show our commitment to continue to participate in the region and support the region. And above all, we are very proud to participate in all the MIRPS processes, the platform, the keto platform, and you can always count on our support and interest. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you very much for your presentation, dear colleague. Now I will give the floor to Mr. Alberto Saucer. Then we will give the floor to the Council of the Permanent Mission Spain in Geneva. Thank you, Ambassador. Dear colleagues, I want to thank Costa Rica and UNHCR for this meeting. The global challenges that we face is very well known for all. And even if it's clear, we believe that we demand a collective action. And along these lines, we have the MIRPS as a regional mechanism inspired by the Global Compact on Refugees that Spain supports fully. Spain led the MIRPS platform in 2020-2021, facing the basis of a solid collaboration that increases. Central America is a priority for our collaboration. We have cultural, historical links and human ones, and we have shared values in our societies. In our region, we are based in protection, health, assistance, and institutional strengthening based on women and children. In the last year, Spain has contributed $6.2 million to the MIRPS through UNHCR and OAS, and we include the 4 million with those displaced communities. In the second World Forum of Refugees, Spain undertook different pledges to increase programs, increase at 1,200 people that are set in 4 years, and increase work for people that are refugees in Central America and the South. We also include innovative initiatives that are connected to the MIRPS as the education community, social inclusion, and we work with the UNHCR with integral focus in the displacement routes with specific data with gender audience and with vulnerable objectives, we continue to increase our commitment with the protection of displaced and with the MIRPS, of the action plan of MIRPS 2025. Now we continue with the Deputy Minister Vadilla. Thank you very much. Thank you, dear Alberto. We will continue with a virtual participation with Dr. Betir de Muñoz Fuizan, with Director of Social Inclusion of the Organization of American States. Madam, you have the floor. Thank you very much for giving me the floor. And I also join my predecessors to give you a brief report on the MIRPS Fund and all the work that we carry out as accompanying the UNHCR as a technical secretary and acknowledge the leadership of Costa Rica as pro temporary presidency of the MIRPS and the technical and political aspect of Colombia, which is leading the support platform to the MIRPS. As I mentioned, as part of the social inclusion platform, we wanted to talk about specific advances in the implementation of the pledges taken by the Secretariat of OAS on the second Refugee Forum. The OAS has a political forum of the hemisphere and a multilateral organization committed to human rights and democratic governance. We know that the challenges of forced displacement require solidarity and collective response, and the MIRPS has been adopted as an institutional priority within the OAS, not only as a technical space but as a tangible tool for regional cooperation. From the forum, the General Secretariat to the social program of the MIRPS has been committed to three main objectives. The first one is to support politically and provide technical assistance to the member states in the implementation of their national plans. The second one is to promote the participation of the private sector, the academia, and the civil society and consolidate the MIRPS fund as a regional mechanism of solidarity financing as part of other financing ways that can be also put in place. Today, we can confirm and affirm that this commitment of the OAS is being complied with. From the Technical Secretariat of MIRPS, we've continued with the strengthening of the technical teams in Costa Rica. The National Office of the OAS increase in the Minare part within the Executive Decree 43393, and we've supported the similar processes in Belize through technical assistance. So the MIRPS is also positioned in the political spaces within the OAS, has a legal and political commission and the Inter-American Commitment of Integral Development City, and has been included in resolutions in 2018 to the recent OAS Assembly of last year. During the last 6 years, the department has also actively accompanied the permanent missions of the MERP countries in the OAS in the negotiation of the political declaration adopted annually throughout the annual meetings of this mechanism. It's important to say that these declarations have served as a roadmap to turn the political pledges in specific actions. We've also contributed to strengthening the technical activities of the regional teams by technical support and facilitation of experts of the Inter-American system, of the Inter-American Commission of Human Rights, the Inter-American Commission of Women and Civil Society in the work of our technical teams at a regional level. We also promote the dialogue with academia, which has been one of the most impactful. One is the Inter-American Course on Protection and Migration, held alongside UNHCR, IOM, and the Notre Dame University. This course has trained more than 500 civil servants at civil society people and the academic. Where this will be also the headquarters from the academic networks of MERPS and those that have been set by the Quito process, creating a strategic alliance with the academia. And we want to say that the Notre Dame University has included financing that will allow us to continue this initiative throughout the next 3 years. Now, regarding the private sector, we are working with the Costa Rican presidency in creating a dialogue mechanism with the business sector to be launched this year. With civil society, we continue to coordinate with the presidency with the Nicaraguan Association of Mexico to move forward in the implementation of the work plan. Now, regarding the MIRPS fund, thanks to the contribution of the Spanish government, which mentioned the first portfolio of projects of the fund is already ongoing with 6 initiatives that are aligned with the national plans of the MIRP states. 4 of them have already finished, and the rest 2 move forward according to the established schedule. Now, with these interventions to the MIRPS fund have benefited more than 24,000 people, where more than 50% are women and children, reaffirming the focus of the fund on tending to the most vulnerable populations. Now, the human impact, it's important to say that they have increased through the strengthening of institutional capacities, improving the attention of those that require refugee, and having concrete opportunity, having socioeconomic integration, labor integration, and access to essential services. I would like to highlight as well the technical and institutional leadership of the MIRP states, whose entities have shown capacity, commitment, entities, and vision that are responding to the national context of each country. This is why we express our deep commitment to the government of Spain, whose financial support has been instrumental and made possible this first stage of project implementation, making them become real and share responsibility that support this regional process. We also invite all those that are part of the support platform to take into consideration the Mayor's Fund as a tool to continue implementing the commitments at a national and multilateral scale. Lastly, I want to express that these advances show a deep conviction that only through cooperation, shared commitment, strengthening between the links and governments, international organizations, civil society, and private sector, we can provide full answers to the challenges of forced displacement in the region. Thank you very much, and I give you the floor.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bertilde. We would like to thank you very much. We would like to thank you for all of your interventions. And now we're going to hear from His Excellency Gustavo Gallón Giraldo, Ambassador of the Permanent Mission of Colombia to the United Nations in Geneva, in his capacity as President of the Support Platform of MIRPS. Ambassador, you have the floor. Thank you very much, Mr. Gustavo Corella. Thank you for giving me the floor. I would like to send my greetings to all of you here and online. On behalf of the Colombian government, as president of the Platform of Support for 2025, I would like to thank you for your participation and for your commitment with the protection and inclusion of refugees, displaced persons, and stateless persons in the region. Thank you very much to Costa Rica in its capacity of pro tempore presidents, and to all of you for your active participation in today's meeting. The practices and shared opportunities in this event show the developments we've made within the framework of the Global Forum on Refugees. We trust that we'll continue promoting an open environment of trust and collaboration in order to translate the principles of the Global Compact into a reality for all refugees. We thank the presentations from the technical groups, the member countries of MIRPS, and
members of the platform. All of these presentations allowed us to understand better the challenges and the role that each one of us has in the construction of these comprehensive mechanisms of protections. However, this is paving the way for our meeting in December, this high-level meeting where we will convene, and the MIRPS will be an example of solidarity in action. As president of this platform of support to the MIRPS, we would like to reiterate our commitment to strengthen our systems in the compliance with all the commitments acquired. These commitments are ambitious, but they are attainable thanks to the network of partners and the solidarity that characterizes our region. In the previous months to the high-level meetings, we invite all members to reiterate their commitments and to update all of their information in the database on the Global Forum on Refugees so that we can follow up on the progress, and this will also contribute to better solutions in the region. Thank you again for your commitment, your participation, and your collaboration. We'll stay in touch and we will continue this dialogue in our future joint activities. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ambassador, for your participation. Microphone, microphone. Thank you very much for your participation, and we wish you an excellent evening. Thank you.